put on settlement, SCA, it attacks the settlement bottom. Why you just attacking the settlement bottom and everywhere else?
That's the big question, and we don't know the answer. We don't know the answer of why any of these attack very specific parts. And if we could come up with an experiment to work that out, it would be fantastic. We've got ideas, but no one knows the answer to that question. I'm not sure if it's that important, unless there's something specific about those cells, which is the trigger for this process. And that could be the case. But I think you had Elston Story come here and talk, and he's looking into that question specifically.
Any more questions? No? Once again, let's thank... Sorry?
Mary.
Yeah.
Is there anything that might even reverse symptoms, or is that basically stopping the awareness?
I don't think anyone knows the answer to that question. Yeah, I don't think anyone knows whether we'll be able to reverse it. And that comes back, and that's a really important question because it comes back to sort of diagnostic testing as well. There is evidence, let's say there's evidence within animal models that it's possible to break down these things, but it's not clear whether the animals really are much better off afterwards or not. So I think, actually the upshot is for most of these neurological conditions, no one really knows the answer, for being honest. There's a range, everyone's got a range of ideas about how to tackle it, and I think probably it will end up being a combination approach. I've got no doubt we'll be successful in the end, it's just the time scale that's going to take.
Another question here.
Just going back to the sharing of knowledge, and you just said the combination. There seems to be so much going on, different things, and I know you said you would have done your research if you hadn't.
Yeah.
But I just think there's so much, but there's no one kind of sharing everything. Like everyone seems to be doing their own little pockets. And it's like I would like to have a general point here where it all comes in.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be possible to create a central place where all the research was collated.
Isn't that journals?
Yeah, but what you really want is, one person to collect all those journals and collect all those bits of information.
Just think it could be a waste of time. Someone could have this over here, and this one wouldn't know, but they got together.
I can probably tell you that from a research perspective, most of us working, I know everyone working in this area, almost everyone, and I know what they're doing. And there's some overlap, and there's some competition, and there's other doing different things. And that, I don't think, unfortunately, given the way we're all funded by the government, and it's the same in America, it's the same in Britain, same in Europe, in a competitive process, that approach isn't going to work unless some big benefactor came along. And then there's no doubt, if you got the 20 best researchers into scars into one building and was said, here's 5 years' money, I've got no doubt you'd produce something fantastic. Yeah. But no one is unfortunately ever, and that's the same for any disease, not just this, any, and no one unfortunately is ever going to do it.
It's like I do 1,000 things. But I don't know which one. If I take out one, will it be the one that I need? So we end up doing 1,000 of them to make sure.
I think where we are with these diseases at the moment, we need to do the 1,000 things. What will become clear over the next probably 5 years, and this holds true for mad cow disease, for prion disease, for Alzheimer's and the others. I think over the next sort of 5 to 7 years, there are going to become preferred avenues of research which are clearly going to lead to more favourable outcomes. And that's already beginning to occur. And that's due to the competitive nature. But also just, we are learning a lot more about these diseases. Many more people are now working in these areas. So it's a good thing.
With these ataxias, like with they all generic? Do you think all these ataxias are generic? Do you think they can be genetic, rather?
Yeah.
Can they be caught through a virus or?
There's absolutely no evidence for a sort of viral. I mean, where viral might come into this is as an add-on. If you've got the change at the DNA level, you will get the disease. So maybe there are some people who fall with the viral and bacterial theories, and that presumably where you get an infection, and what that does to your cells is then make them more susceptible, so you may get this disease.
No, the reason I ask is because we've got SCAR7 in our family. But my brother's got just recently been diagnosed with SCAR3. So I wondered how that sort of happened in the one, although
Sort of through because that's the other side of the thing.
There's no, I mean, your brother would have always had the potential, unfortunately, to get the disease. And we certainly don't understand what the triggers are. I'd be interested to know what glutamine length he had, because that's probably going to be the key thing as to presumably what age range he
yeah,
was.
we've got no idea what it is. I'll ask him because he will have got those results.
Yeah. The trigger may have just brought it on earlier than he may have got it naturally. So all of these diseases are genetic, but they also a lot of the times they're just sporadic. You'll get the change at the DNA level, but it will pop up if one has been in the family before, and that happens with a lot of those diseases. And it's just mistakes, unfortunately, at the DNA level.
And two can have it too, can't they? Like husband and wife, and both have it.
Yeah, you may, depending on when the symptoms start showing, you may go, well, not, maybe you've got it, but, get past on that way.
Could it be dormant in your system for a long, long time? And they come out when you
So there's no doubt, the thing that confuses researchers a lot is that all of these diseases are generally late on, what we call late onset. Most people don't start showing symptoms. You're definitely born with the protein that's in the incorrect form, right? Why we don't see symptoms until 30, 40, 50 years of age? No one understands that. One of the theories is when you're younger, your cells are more healthy, they're able to take care of it. As we get older, the machinery, the quality control machinery, that machinery begins to fall over. It will do probably in all of us. It's one of the reasons why we age. And as that machinery falls over, if you've got the mistake, say in your polyglutamine, so it's a bit longer, well, then that kicks in. It's like the statement that, if everyone in this room lives to 100, 90% of us will have Alzheimer's. We don't get Alzheimer's much earlier, but all proteins aggregate. The cell is able to cope with that. But if you live that long, your cells, when they're replicating, just make more and more mistakes. Various processes fall over. That's probably, it sounds very gloomy, but that's sort of imagine the processes that are happening. We know it's the quality control machinery. We know that things happen to that over time. We know it's not as good, and that's where mistakes creep in.
Mr. Bennett, can we move for a question?
Can I just finish on a bright note? What's the bright? Something bright.
The bright notes, the people at the back.
Well, can we thank the professor and his team?